Welcome back everyone on the channel. Today I'm standing in Belgium in a beautiful house which was once the home of Mr. Roger and Mrs. Blanche. After Mrs. Blanche went to a nursing home and she passed away a few months later, Mr. Roger was actually spending his days here until 2012. He had a pretty bad health condition. It's a very sad story. We found multiple letters dedicated to him, wishing him a quick and good recovery. Unfortunately, there came a day and also Mr. Roger departed this earth. And ever since, like I said, in 2012, this home stands abandoned and neglected. Today, we are going to take you on a tour through their lives, show you the aftermath of their life, and yeah, that's what we're gonna do. Enjoy watching this video. Alright, so I'm just gonna start off at the main entrance. You can tell a few years ago somebody tried to close everything. Luckily right now we managed our way to get inside through an open window. And we are able to capture the beauty of the home of Roger and Mrs. Blanche. Over here, a vase with these blooms. These people love decorating their home, especially with a lot of flowers. And also have a look over here. The ark, which is made with the red bricks, gives a very Belgian feeling and style to this home. So right over here was actually the basement of the people. I will just firstly show all of this to you, because still all their food products are left behind. Cans of vegetables, tomato sauce for the pasta is also still here. And then sadly enough also a lot of medicine. All these medicines, they were probably for Roger, who lived there in his later days. And then right over here was actually a basement. Very, very tiny. And again, you can tell that it mainly served as a storage for food and drinks. I see a lot of bottles of wine, also some bottles of water, and of course some Belgian beers. Leffe, but also Kasteel beer, which means castle beer, is a very, very nice beer from Belgium. Look over here. Also still carrots, pickles. Over there also some canned food. Look like some cherries in these jars. Well, and then we're going back up. And we are going to make our way to the living. I just love all the wallpaper over here, just the print, the design. And have a look at the thick layer of cobwebs here. A lot of dead spiders inside. And then this was a part of their living room. Unfortunately, it has been quite messed. Stuff has been thrown around. You can tell we are not the first people to be inside, unfortunately. Those are actually all some Belgian proverbs. My heaven, my home. I think these people love to be in their home. Some fake flowers over here. And they decorated their home with a lot of stuff. to give it a warm and homely feeling. And I can still feel the energy of that this was once a very, very lovely home. And they were living a happy life. Beautiful vase over there. And then over here in this cabinet, still all the spices. This used to be salt. Oh, now it's just completely brownish. Pepper, garlic, curry, paprika. Over here, I think they also loved baking. Pudding powder. Some rice. This one is closed. There is a lock. And then over here, traditional stove. It's not very, very old, but it's very Belgian. Again, flowers. And 𝗦𝘁cie and Blanche, they were very religious. They were both Roman Catholics. Have a look at the curtains. It's actually a little bit more of a French taste. Over here the doll. So the people who lived there, they also had 2 grandchildren. I will show you a picture of them later on. Very neat mirror over here. Also have a look at the little statue of Jesus Christ. Over here the window has been smashed. Shutters are closed. So it's very, very dark inside. And in the middle would have been their main table. With the lamb on top. And have a look on its design. They actually implied fishes. Over here actually some CDs and DVDs. Again, a lot of medicines on the table. This is actually pain medication. It's a painkiller. It's actually antiviral medication. Also some coats over there, some pens. Over here they had some sofas. Oh, it looked to me at first this was a part of a bullet, but it isn't. Over here is actually embroidery. And then over there is a thermometer. Well, you can already capture a glimpse of the next room, which is again also beautiful. This is actually my favorite room throughout the whole place. They had a little plate on top. It looks like a musketeer. I think most people know the 3 musketeers. And then look over here. This room is oh so pristine. There are so many ornaments inside. And just gives a very, very vintage feeling. Wow. Just gonna start off immediately here in the corner. They had a little desk. And over here we can see a picture of the loving couple. On the left, Mr. Roger, and respectively on the right, Mrs. Blanche. I think this was made on the day they were married for a certain amount of years. Like an anniversary. Because over here we can see them on their real wedding. Wow. Some beautiful, beautiful marriage pictures. You can tell they were happily in love. And then now, 8 years later, both of the couple have just departed this earth. And they probably also had children, and they had grandchildren. But why are they not caring about their parents' home anymore? Look at all of this. The candle holders over here. Also this tiny lamp. And again there is a wooden carved plate. I love the wallpaper again in this room. Don't know what this over here was. It's some yellowish powder. And they threw it all over the ground over here. But then have a look. If I open this cabinet, just everything is still inside. All the glasses. Wow. Over here we can see a picture of a boy riding on a pony. This could have been their son, or maybe Mr. Roger in his younger days. And also in front of the window, a lot of china ornaments, some sheep over there. I think this family was definitely involved in agriculture. And the interesting thing is that they also had a factory right behind their home. Well, as you know, we always want to be very too rough. And I wish I could show you the factory too, but there are still active cameras and it's being guarded. So we don't want to take any risks of getting caught. So I will only show you the factory from the outside. Over here, a silver swan. We can again see a picture of them on the marriage and look at both of them. Very, very beautiful human mankinds. And then over here, I think this is my favorite part. It's oh so colorful. There are so many ornaments, like literally everywhere. Some are also religious. Just gonna pan through it very, very slowly, so you're able to see everything properly. Wow, there was also a trophy over here. But what took my eye is this beautiful vase. Oh so detailed, and there is even like childs and babies made on the sides and even on the top. And what was it holding? Well, in this case nothing, but I think also over here used to be flowers inside. Then over here, was actually something to hang up your clothes. Looks very, very chic. And then this over here, I noticed it, but I don't know what it is. At first I was thinking this is a wig, but now I'm really hesitating about what it might have been. It is hair, but I think maybe from an animal. So if anyone knows what this exactly was, used as an ornament, then just leave it down in the comment section down below. Time to have a look what's inside of these cabinets. Well, a lot of paperwork. But it's mostly mess and just some everyday items. Over there also some cleaning products, some bedding products. I think this was a device to view through old pictures. And notice over here the old envelopes too, which still denote in francs the old currency of Belgium, before the euro actually came through in 2004. This was a little diary. It's dated from 1992. So we are continuing our way through their kitchen. And it's always sad to see that the home is a little bit trashed here and there, but still, I love just the essence of this home, its beauty, the living rooms. They were so old, and then this makes me feel very, very sad and distressed. All the medicines over here in these shafts. You can tell it's true what we found in the letters. All the friends and relatives of Mr. Roger sending him a quick recovery. There's a huge bottle of champagne over here. Still unopened. Cork is still inside. Well, the furnace. Damn, there are still food products inside with living spiders. Then in front of the window over here, again, the barren plants, which haven't been watered for a very, very long time. Some plastic cutlery. Strange. Well, those ones are just from iron or steel. Yeah, just normal stuff you would expect right under the sink to do all their dishes. I'm curious if the water is still running over here. No, seems to be turned off. Still all the glasses inside. And then we're going to make our way through a beautiful part. Have a look over here. This was like a porch. Then over here, what I think was more like a relaxing part. But it would literally just relax, hang out, watch some television. And also embrace all their plants, because there are so many plants. And this one over here is also a cactus. I put my hand inside before filming and I actually hurt it myself. But anyways, I'm okay right now. It's been taken care of. And they also love to listen to music over here. Again, some religious things on top. And those are actually all the letters I've went through. And they literally told everything about the story. I'm not gonna show them, I think they were very personal, also relatives which have passed away. But I've went through them, I put them all back where they belonged, and yeah, that's how I actually revealed the story of the people who lived there. By just searching for clues inside of this home. Anyways, again over here you can tell people just had no respect, threw everything out of this cabinet. Look over here, also recording device and television on top. And then again over here is one of those wigs. I still can't figure out what it was, so please, if you are watching this video and already made it to this part, just leave it down in the comment section if you have any clue or idea what it might have been. And then, like I told, Mr. Roger and Mrs. Blanche, they were running a business. Well, this is where all these serious things happened, in their tiny office here attached to their home. It seemed that they also liked traveling through Europe. There were some maps from Europe. A lot of files and documents over here. And then look at all these post-its on the wall. They were all mostly about financial things. Also some business contacts involved in agriculture. Some letters from 2002, 2003. However, the last newspaper I found was from 2012. And still concerning the state of this house. I think it's been abandoned for around 8 years now. And this was their bathroom. Over here the washer. Quite old school. There is also still jeans left inside of this bucket over here. Like literally all their clothes which had been taken out of the washer, and all of a sudden it didn't went well with Mr. Roger. And gloomily enough, he had to go to a care home. Bathtub over here. You can tell the wallpaper is already starting to come off. Alright, and then I really want to show you the porch I was talking about. It's a sunny day in Belgium again here. The rays of sunlight are falling through. And have a look. This was their porch. And again over here is also a lot of plants and a television. Looks so messy and unorganized to see all these plants literally dumped inside of this room. This is a fairly big one. Going all the way through this room. And then right behind his garden, That was actually the factory I was talking about. Well, we can check it out, but what I've been told is that there is cameras and there is alarm. I think we are quickly gonna take a glimpse and that's all, but we're not gonna risk anything which is not needed. Okay, so we covered everything on the ground floor. Right now it's time to walk up the stairs over here and show you what's waiting for us on the upstairs. To be honest, guys, you know we do a lot of places in France, but I've missed the old places in Belgium. And if you missed them too, just leave it down in the comment section because I really want to do more in Belgium in the future. So we made our way to the upstairs right now. Well, there was 3 ways to go. And there was also an attic, but no way I'm gonna reach that. Well, the first room is a bedroom. It's pretty plain compared to the living downstairs. And also it looks a little bit more modern. Over here is still an alarm clock. The glasses. And look over here. Religious Maria statue. Right next to the crucifix. And some more alarm clocks over here. Oh, I really like this vanity. Have a look at the shape of the mirror. And still inside the wardrobe are all their clothes just left behind and left forgotten. On the right side, this looks like could have been from the woman. This was definitely from the man. And then again, this is mostly from the woman. And the jacket probably was from the man. Some umbrellas there too, and over here a hat. Nobilis. There was also a little door behind the wardrobe, and I think, yeah, this was just some additional storage. Very, very tight in here and also full of cobwebs. Oh, and there's a fairly big spider. Okay, I'm getting out of here. Well, let's go on. Well, so over here another room, and it's almost completely filled with shoe boxes. And all the shoes are still there, left inside. Have a look, some leather shoes over here, also still in the box. I also saw some Adidas shoes, pumps from the woman. It's completely full. I just can't get my mind straight around it. because all these shoes which are left behind over here should be donated to a good cause instead of leaving them just to rot inside of this abandoned home. But unfortunately, I'm not the person with legal permission to do all of this. I'm not the son, I'm not even the grandson of these people, so I have no legal rights to donate all of these things. And I always leave everything in the way I found it. Over here are some more clothes. Have a look, and some of them are quite beautiful. Over here the elephant print. Again, it's completely overstuffed. Wow. I think this person over here, this man, was the father of Mr. Roger or Mrs. Blanche. And somehow I do have a feeling that one of these two people were not Flemish, but they were French. Because the home features so many French influences in their style. And the way it's been decorated. And then over here on the bed is still an unopened box with Belgium chocolates. And trust me, if you ever come to Belgium, you should try out their chocolates, because these pralines, they are absolutely delicious. Okay guys, so have a look at this. This is too crazy for words. The light is still working inside this home. I guess nobody was expecting this, even not me. Well, I'm turning it out because I don't want this place to burn down and I want to protect it. Alright, so we made our way outside. Lastly, we're gonna check out the factory. Gonna try to make our way through here to the cornfield. And let's see where this ends. Some spikes over here. Alright, the last time I was walking in such a cornfield actually was in France, and I have very, very bad memories about that. We had to run away in a huge $1 million castle. Let's take a quick glimpse. Alright, still some machines over here. So we're making our way to the cornfield. Almost reach it, I think. I hope at least. Alright. It seems that this is already the end. Well, at least there is another building. Let's just have a quick look. Well, we have full exposure over here, as we're literally in the middle of the fields, and there is a farmer now. There is an active farmer over there in the grounds. I'm not gonna do this. Let's go back. So here in the middle of a cornfield in Belgium, I want to close this video. This was again a beautiful time capsule house. I really liked it, and I want to thank the family for having us. All respect to them, blessings to them. Hope they lived a healthy and happy life, and also a very lucky life. And yeah, like I'm wishing them, I also wishing all the best to all of you. Really want to thank you for watching again. And like we always say, peace out from Belgium, and we will see you on the next adventure. Bye bye.